Speaking of MMO, did you play Ragnarok Online back in 2004? I don't remember if I did. I might have dabbled in it, but I don't think so. I think in that era, I was still playing StarCraft nonstop. You have to understand, chat. Until about, I think I don't remember what year, but until much later, I didn't really start getting into MMOs until MapleStory. And my early era was predominantly StarCraft plus Counter-Strike. I didn't play anything but those two, so. Oh yeah, I played Lineage. I did play Lineage. Holy cow, StarCraft, bro, is an unk. Bro, StarCraft was a peak game. I actually miss, like, games like StarCraft. I still watch StarCraft esports. If you don't know, Korea still has StarCraft Brood War esports. It's still my jam. And what's crazy is a lot of the pros in StarCraft Brood War esports are still the same people from 20 years ago, which is insane. I fucking love it. It gives me crazy nostalgia. I have fond memories of Lineage 2. The PK system is selling buffs over at Antara's lair as a blade dancer. Bro, Lineage, Cabal, like those games are, Jesus, what an era. This makes me sound more like a boomer, but there's something about older games that I miss. There's a different vibe to them, you know? I feel like people were way more fucking hardcore too. There were a lot less casuals back then. Which is like, I'm not saying casuals are bad, but, you know? To be honest, I like playing Ragnarok Online back then than playing any MMORPG on New Era. Yeah, I think MMOs are unfortunately a dying breed. And it's partly because of devs being unable to make good MMOs, but it's also partly because I think just people in general don't have the attention span for MMOs, which is sad, because I do think MMOs are my favorite genre ever. I just love the community, like, part of it. There's just so many parts of MMOs I love. You know, it's basically an MMO allows you to, like, progress and become this thing outside of your lame day-to-day human life, right? And that thing that you are playing as basically becomes an extension of yourself. And that's the best part. WoW and Final Fantasy 14 reigns supreme for another 5 years. Bro, but like, can we imagine a world where Blue Protocol actually fucking, you know, weren't steaming pile of shit and actually gave us a product, right? You know, I've actually always wondered what, like, developers like Wua, like Hoyo and these guys could do if they actually put their money into, like, a genre like an MMO. Right? Like, can you imagine a world like this? Right? Where we're all just flying around, but it's massively multiplayer online. That shit would be so cool. MMOs are so shit, though. Maybe you just come from a different era. I grew up in an era of gaming where MMOs were, like, peak gaming. Like, they were some of the best games to play. To find friends, find a community, you know? Like, they were peak. Tower of shit? Okay, no. Tower of Fantasy is not the example I'm making here, alright? Like, no, not Tower of Fantasy. China have really bad netcode devs? I suppose. But I don't think it's that China has really bad netcode devs, chat. It's more so that a lot of Asian games have really bad netcode for Western servers. Is because their netcode over there is like, it's kind of like how Korean MMOs like BDO for the longest time had massive desync issues in the West, but like that's mainly because you can play from basically anywhere in Korea and you will have 0 ping to the server because Korea is such a small country, you know. And unfortunately, when you take that infrastructure and try to apply it to the West, it doesn't work because the West doesn't. Yeah, it's still shit. I'm pretty sure the netcode in BDO is still shit because they can't figure it out. There's no way because it fundamentally just like doesn't work. Now MMO and gacha's not gonna work together. No, I'm not saying like these gacha companies should make a gacha MMO. I'm thinking, imagine if they took all their billions and put it into a really good MMO. I mean, there's already been rumors that Hoyo is maybe working on an MMO, but like I think that's just a rumor. There's no way. I feel like right now, the worst category of a game that any company can make is an MMO. Because the amount of money you need to put in for possible risk and no return is way too high. So I don't think those rumors are true about Hoyo making an MMO. Like, why would any developer want to risk that amount of money on an MMO? Yeah, they're a giga gamble. So Hoyo can't even get their co-op to work properly. I mean, I don't think there's a single gacha game where their co-op works flawlessly, to be honest. I mean, I guess Nikke's co-op, but like that's not the same. I mean, like action combat game, you know? Like Tower of Fantasies was terrible. Even here in Wuha, like if you, I don't know if any of you guys been farming together, but half the time mobs don't even show up. I'm fighting invisible mobs in my co-op world with friends, like, you know? So I don't think there's a single action gacha game that has netcode figured out properly for multiplayer either. Wouldn't Warframe be a good example of a good MMO these days? Yeah, but I don't consider Warframe to be like the traditional model of what I consider to be like my style of MMO, you know? It's basically like, it's basically not an MMO and possibly an MMO at the same time. I don't really consider Warframe an MMO. It's like the same way I don't really consider Destiny an MMO either, but like there's some people who do. Yeah, it's more like online co-op. Dragalia had good multiplayer as a gacha game in my opinion. It did, but like again, like that's on a scope much smaller than these games that we're talking about. We could have had it all with Relink if they actually made it live service. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Relink was probably the closest we could have gotten to something like that. Throne and Liberty? I wasn't crazy about Throne and Liberty. I know there's still people playing Throne and Liberty, but it just wasn't my jam. For MMOs, my go-to is always like non-tap target action combat. That is my thing for my favorite action combat MMOs. Fortunately, for some reason, so many developers are just stuck on tap target slash like long casting abilities. I'm just not a fan. When it was newer, was a good time? Yeah. If Lost Ark didn't fuck you with gold, would you still be playing? No, unfortunately, the reason I quit Lost Ark wasn't due to gold. The reason I quit Lost Ark is due to my relationship with my girlfriend. There's a reason lots of Lost Ark content creators like don't have relationships, or you know, if they did, they always talk about how it strains the relationship because they put so many hours into Lost Ark. All right, there were content creators I remember calling Lost Ark lost relationship because you have to give up your relationship to play that game. Lost Ark on LOA is shit because of multi-character structure. That was my least favorite part about Lost Ark. You know, you just have to do too much horizontal investment. I'm not a fan of horizontal investment in any MMOs I play. I always was about giga vertical investment into one character. I hated ults. Yeah, that was another part that I really didn't like. Then just play Final Fantasy 14? No, see, the issue I have with Final Fantasy 14 then is the combat. I think Final Fantasy 14's combat is just like, it's not my style. It's yeah, it's just not my style. My style of combat, chat, as much as I hate tap targeting, I actually thought ArcheAge's combat was pretty fucking fluid and fast. Black Desert is obviously up there as well. Terra's combat was great. Blade and Soul was great. Like, but Final Fantasy just feels slower. I do really think the actual combat itself is Final Fantasy's like weakest link. I think the like raids and all that, the music, the fucking world building, all that is great, but it's the actual combat itself, the feel of the combat. It just always feels a little too floaty for me. Blade and Soul was amazing. NCSoft killed it. Yeah, tell me something NCSoft doesn't kill. Have you tried Guild Wars 2 combat? I did, but I haven't played Guild Wars 2 in like years. It's been a long time, so like the game could have changed from the last time I tried it. What is horizontal slash vertical investment? So horizontal investment, let's say like if we're talking in terms of like gacha games, if I were talking about horizontal investment in terms of Wuthering Waves right now, it would be me building every character, you know? Basically making sure not any character is really amazing, but every character is decent, right? Vertical investment is basically making sure like, sure, I don't have like 10 teams built, but I have like 2 teams built, but those 2 teams are really fucking cracked. So it's basically like building, yeah, it's more spreading your resources versus concentrating your resources. Guild Wars 2 has both action and tap target. Yeah, but my issue with Guild Wars 2 was I thought the game was ugly as fuck. That's the main reason I quit. I wasn't a fan of the aesthetic. I thought horizontal investment was getting characters themselves and vertical was going for cons and weapon, at least in gacha. I mean, technically, sure, yeah, that's one way to think about it, but we're talking about like not just in gacha, we're talking about in all games, right? Mainly the topic was like about MMOs. Where in Lost Ark, essentially, a horizontal investment is the fact that you have to have multiple alts constantly gotten up to certain levels, and then you have to do all these fucking quests and things to fucking unlock more stuff. You have to do all these nonsensical things to fucking, like, build up enough runs or whatever to finally unlock this thing that'll get you enough points for unlocking that stat. It's like, that's so cringe, you know? PSO2, NGS just had a Freerun collab. You know, I actually used to love not Freerun. I love Freerun, but I used to love PSO2. I played PSO2 before NGS came out, and I was addicted to that game. Like, actually. I used to basically, like, I stopped playing the game itself at a certain point and just sat at the auction house all day. And all I would do was market flip. And that's how, like, at the end of my PSO2... I ended up giving away most of my pole dances, but I had like 20 to like 40 pole dance emotes, each worth like, they were the most expensive market item in the game at the time. So like I had basically like gotten like one of the monopolies of just tons of pole dance emotes. And that's basically, that was like my treasure trove.
Can you keep up?
NGS fucked everything up. Oh, did it? What ship were you on usually? Do you remember? No, I don't fucking remember. I could probably find that out. I just have to probably go through some Discord logs. NGS had repetitive mobs, hence I quit. You want me to be honest? I don't think NGS's graphical overhaul was what I was looking for. I didn't think they fixed a lot of what I thought graphically looked ugly in PSO. Because I think PSO has this thing where they just have really pointy anime girl or anime 3D faces. Like, and their noses are really fucking pointy looking, and it's just like ugly, you know? They did not need to make NGS. Isn't PSO a Sega property, right? Does Sega do anything properly outside of Sonic? Even Sonic, I don't even know if they do that properly. So...
Quickly and
they added cell shading eventually, still didn't help much though. Yeah, like that was one of the big things I think that held back PSO. All that customization and shit, but your fucking character like base models look worse than Snowbreaks. Like, you know? That's a problem. You can bear with turn-based strategy MMO that no, I do not like turn-based strategy MMO. That sounds awful. Like, for me, MMO, one of my favorite things about MMO is action combat PvP. That is what got me addicted to MMOs, right? One of my favorite parts of ArcheAge was basically just dumpstering and shitting on people and like absolutely farming them in 1v1s, in you know, team PvP, whatever, right? I love PvP. I lived for PvP in MMOs. ArcheAge on launch was amazing. Yeah, I fucking loved it. Literally, I was like one of the strongest characters on my server, and I didn't do anything but PvP. I just farmed like top rank in arena constantly, sold Lunafrost on release, and those sold constantly all the time for tons of gold. And then I basically went on ships with my friends, and then just stole trade packs from people and sold them. I was basically just a thief, and that's how I made a living in ArcheAge. What about New World PvP? I never tried New World. Nothing about New World looks interesting. This is what I'm saying, man. Can you imagine with what we get with like these gacha companies? Like, imagine the resources NetEase put into Ananta, and they put that into a fucking MMO. Oh my god. That would be my dream. I really think these fucking MMO developers just need to get like I don't know why there's an anime MMO that has like Wua's aesthetics. You know, like Wua's character models, or like Hoyo's character models. Like, why does Blue Protocol look the way it does? Tower Fantasy? Bro, Tower Fantasy got that ugly ass art style I still don't fucking like. I'm not a fan of it. Right? And then Blue Protocol has that ugly ass art style too, which is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like terribly ugly, but it's not exactly that great either. Yeah, I don't really like Tower Fantasy art style. Hada Studios art style is like pretty hit or miss. I do think NTE made it better, but I still think it's not the best. Riot MMO will surely save us. I'm pretty sure that shit dead, bro. Laziness to use anything other than Unreal Engine? I mean, that's not really an issue either. Like, Ananta's by Unreal Engine. That shit looks good. PSO2 last moments. Oh my god. I remember this era, man. I remember my favorite part of PSO2 was going to those concerts to get the fucking buff, and then some motherfucker would just do the fucking art of a giant fucking like penis, and then That shit was always hilarious, man. Everybody's just having a good time at the concert, and then fucking penis art. I'd have the one where it's just fucking. I think I had one with like fucking tits as well. You know, it's funny. Good old times. Hey, the hentai emotes were peak. Wait, in NGS they banned them all? Fucking what a bunch of losers. Man, I remember PSO2. This shit was fun. You know, I used to stream PSO2, I'm pretty sure, a long time ago. Let me actually see. I'm pretty sure I did stream PSO2. Yeah, I used to. Okay, I only streamed like twice, I guess, but I did stream it to a whopping 4 viewers, baby. Yeah. Yes, sir. This was pre-Genshin era. I was just streaming it to friends. Ancient Fobbits. I don't remember if I don't remember who was. I know Itchy Ninja was in that era. I don't remember who else.